I beg for your ears. In this session, we are going to look at the sources of African traditional religion. The word source is like a tree. A tree is having the leaves, is having the branches, the stem, and the roots. So we want to know the roots of African traditional religion. What are those roots? We want to see the sources, the core of the African traditional religion. Where can we, for example, if I'm born today, where can I go and I get to know about the African traditional religion? Should I go to my ancestors? Should I go to my mother? Should I go to my father or my sister or my brothers? So we want to see the sources. The word is source. It is like where can we get the knowledge about the African traditional religion? Remember, we say that African traditional religion doesn't have holy scriptures. Therefore, if you want to know about African traditional religion, the question is, where can I go? Whom should I ask? Where can I rely? Where can I gather this information about the faith or the religion from? So these are the things we are going to look at, such that even a person living in the modern world, you can know where specifically you can go for information concerning African traditional religion. In the first place, one of the sources of African traditional religion is the myths and the legends. The myths and the legends are the sources of, actually, they are some of the sources of the African traditional religion. Myths in our traditional language, basically, if you look at Buganda, Engero, if you look at agriculture, such things. So we can look at it, we can get information about African traditional religion, basically looking at the myths, the stories that are told to us by our mothers, the fathers, the grandfathers, and elders in the society. So it is one of the ways of acquiring knowledge about African traditional religion. Just like we look at history, where we can look at anthropology, archaeology, linguistics, and the others. So, on the side of the African traditional religion, we can rely on the myths and the legends. So, you can, for example, if you want to know about your religion, you can go to your grandfather. He can explain into details what the religion you follow is. Or you can go to your mother or father. They can tell you the stories. They can tell you anything that can help you to know about the African religion. So specifically, the myths and they look at the biography, the situation analysis, and the imaginary explanations. You can imagine. For example, they used to tell us about Chitu and Nambi. They used to tell us about the sort of these Insanji, those stories they used to tell us. So these used to impart morals in the people that you were trying to know about the religion. Another source of African traditional religion, they are the rituals, celebrations, and the festivals. Africans could celebrate a number of events. They could celebrate a number of events. They could conduct a number of rituals. They could even do a lot. For example, we have festivals like the birth. When you are born, nowadays people celebrate birthdays. But in ancient, in African traditional societies, Africans within the society used to celebrate the birth. So birth was one of the ways people used to know about their religions, basing on what was done during that celebration. There were some rituals like circumcision. If you go on the people like the Bagisu, the Bagisu, they celebrate that thing of circumcision. They even dance, they even enjoy, they take beers, they eat food. Such celebrations also helped Africans to know, even they are the cores where people were easily connected to their religion. People used to gather as a group. So specifically, you have different celebrations in Africa. For example, you have that puberty stage, the funeral. During funeral, when they are burying someone, people could gather. They know how the culture is conducted. birth, we have weddings, and among others. Another one, the third source of African traditional religion is names. The names that are given to people can easily portray where they come from. They can easily point. If my name is Sewankambo Shafiq, it is a clear description that I'm in Uganda, I'm coming from this particular group of people. It is a clear description that I'm coming from Chima clan. So looking at different names, so we want to connect names to religion. For example, a good example is a name from Banyolo called Byaruhanga. Byaruhanga is a name that is talking about Ruhanga. Ruhanga to those people is God. So that is a clear point that these people knew about God basing on the names that they used to give to their children. That is one. That is the third one. Then another one is music and dance. People could celebrate, they could show that they know God through their dance and music. They could compose songs, worshiping songs. They could compose dance. These kind of things really showed that they know God. So nowadays people, they call them the folk songs. These folk songs were the songs Africans composed during the worship in the early days. So these songs were composed and they used to carry the name of their God to show that at least they can give gratitude to God. To show that they acknowledge His presence, to show that God is omnipresent, is with them. Even they used to compose songs depending on what event they are going to have. For example, if they were going for wars, they could compose songs. And just like in the Bible, the Israelites used to compose psalms or hymns that they used to compose specifically looking at a specific event. Even the type of dance they used to dance was also targeting. Even up to date, they still do the same things. Another one, we have the beliefs and customs. The religious beliefs and customs in African traditional religion also portray that Africans really knew their God, or they had knowledge. Let us not look at the way missionaries and other groups of people who say that Africans were not religious. Africans were religious, but because of the way they used to show their knowledge about God, people took them to be as if they are agreeing about God, but they knew. But what is the difference between African traditional religion and other religion? That Africans, they used to conduct themselves basing on community. They used to do things communally. They used to do their religions, even the rituals and other things were separate. They are different depending on the society or the community a person came from. We have proverbs and riddles. There are also sources of African traditional religion. Proverbs and riddles, they are also, even in the present situation, they are still used. So Africans basically used to compose poems. The poets in African traditional religion used to compose poems. That these composed poems were used during worship, even other events. For example, Baganda has a saying that Chakwa to Chigana. Chakwa to Chigana is a saying that is looking at God, trying to show you that whatever thing that God gives you, you should not reject. You have to accept. And that is a clear point that they knew that whatever thing we have is from God. Let it be bad, let it be good. It is from God. It is God that decides. He's all-knowing. Is omnipresent. God is omnipotent. He knows, He's powerful. He knows what you will be today and what you will be tomorrow. He knows, actually, for them they believe that God knew us even before you were born, even before your parents planned for your birth. So those are some of the African traditional religion sources. Though there are many, we have arts and symbols. People used it to get knowledge. They used to seek, they used to gather information looking at the art pieces or the things that people left. For example, the symbols they used to put on rocks, the symbols they used to put on trees, the symbols they used to put on different areas that would help the generations after generations to know about African traditional religion. So, going into details, there are many sources of African traditional religion that you need to know such that you are in position of understanding what African traditional is all about. So I beg to stop here with the sources of African traditional religion. Have a good day.